Listen, learn, create your own destiny. Create the life you want. See the future, want the future, have it now. Welcome to the Manifest Change podcast. And here's your host, Brooklyn Storme.
Hello and welcome to, can you believe, season 1, episode 13 of the Manifest Change podcast. It's so awesome to have you guys here today. The card that I've pulled for us is by Esther and Joe Hicks, and it simply says, I attract the essence of whatever pleases me. I attract the essence of whatever pleases me. And I think that this affirmation really ties in beautifully with today's topic, because today is Christmas Eve. It is 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Melbourne, Australia, and the sky is blue, the sun is shining. We have had kookaburras out on the property this morning, and it is just gorgeous. I'm here in my beautiful study. I've got all my dream catchers. I've got my ram skulls on the wall. I've got, if you've seen it, it's a great big wreath that I made of weeping willow, and it's got feathers all through it and little crystals and jewelry through it. I've got all my candles going, and I've just bought, last weekend, I bought a whole bunch of crystals. I don't know why, just for some reason I felt compelled to go out and buy crystals. They're beautiful. I've got lots of gorgeous points of quartz, and you can see the rainbows in them. And I did buy a piece of moldavite, which was a little bit of a splurge, and I'm spending lots of time reading all about those things. But I thought what we'd talk about today is manifesting, because tomorrow's Christmas, and I know lots of people have been sending messages and emails and putting posts in the Facebook groups that I have, asking me, are there any tips I have for manifesting things for Christmas? So let's get on to that right now and get you guys sorted out. So the first thing is, when we're manifesting, as you know, manifesting is really the outcome or the result of things that you've been thinking, feeling, and doing over the past few months, or maybe over the past, longer time than that. And so when we're talking about manifesting, yes, if we want things in our future, we can absolutely put a time guide around them. But I guess the difference between how we manifest things here and how we might goal set in the real world is that, when we're goal setting, we absolutely want to hit that goal at that time. But when we're manifesting, we understand that there is this thing called divine timing. And it's probably not the best name for it because it sounds a little bit woo-woo, but the idea is that sometimes it just takes a little bit of time for energies to reorganize in order to be able to provide you with the things that you're really looking forward to having more of in your life. Okay, so the first thing is that when you're trying to manifest, you have to be very clear about what it is that you want. And I have my own theory on this, and I'll be really interested to hear your thoughts as well, because my theory is that at the end of the day, people just want whatever they think is going to make them happy. And I believe that it's not the thing that's going to make them happy that they want, that it's more the feeling of happiness. So to explain, maybe we're thinking about, I really want a Ferrari because I know when I get a Ferrari, I'm going to be so happy. So they're seeing the Ferrari as a vehicle to happiness, but the real goal for that person is happy. Maybe somebody says, oh, I really want to meet the perfect partner for me, and then I'll be happy. I know that when I meet that special someone, they're going to complete me. They're going to be that missing piece of my jigsaw puzzle, and everything's going to be great from there on in. So they're seeing a relationship as the vehicle to the happy place. I think you can manifest a lot more quickly if you're really clear about what it is you want. And I'll bet that it's not always that you want the relationship or the car. I'll bet that a lot of the time it's just that you want this feeling of happiness. But regardless of if you agree with me or not, I think it's just really important to be clear about what you want and to go a step beyond that. What's the vision beyond the vision? Like, say, okay, well, you've got the Ferrari, then what? Like, what's the point of getting the Ferrari? What doors is that going to open up for you? Or how is that going to change things for you? And what do you want from there? Because as humans, as people, a lot of the time we're never satisfied with what we've got. A lot of the time, most of us are looking ahead to, okay, well, I got that. Now what? I hit that goal. Now I want a new goal, or I got that car and now I want to save up and get a better car, or I went to Bali and now I want to go to Europe or something. So really think about what's beyond what you really want. And I think that that's what you should be aiming for when you're manifesting. Why? Because it makes it more achievable and it makes it more believable. It's much easier for your mind to get on board with that sort of vision beyond the vision. The next thing I would recommend is, of course, you have to believe that you can have this thing that you want. So if you really want a car for Christmas, you have to absolutely 100% believe that, all sorts of things, that you're going to get the car. I mean, a lot of us might say, well, I would love a car, but we're not really believing that we're going to get one. We're believing on the inside it's not going to happen. We believe we're not worthy of the new car. We believe that money would be better spent on something else. We believe that we don't really need it, things like that. And given that beliefs occupy a space of up to 90% in your mind, and it's the beliefs that are directing your behavior. Of course, if you believe it's not going to happen, then you're not going to take action that's aligned with making it happen. Okay. If you don't believe it's going to happen, you're not going to look at financing options, or you're not going to go and test drive a car, or you're not going to look at cars online and read reviews about their safety features or their performance and things like that. So you have to make this thing believable. So perhaps scale it back to something that your mind can get on board with. Okay. The biggest stuff can come, absolutely, but you just have to be ready for it. So if it's feeling like the goal is too far away or not accessible now, just chunk it back down into something that's a bit more easy to get your mind around and go from there. Okay, the next tip is, of course, to see it in your mind. So you want to visualize it. Visualize a time when you had something similar like this happen in the past, and remember everything good about it. If nothing like this has happened to you, what you can do is you can imagine, and using your imagination, you can create a scene, play out in your mind of what it might feel like to have this in your life, how it changes you, how it impacts your family, how it affects your work, how it affects where you live, how it affects your day-to-day life in all really positive ways. So spending some time almost fantasizing really about what life will be like for you when you have this goal achieved or this goal's realized is going to be very, very powerful. And here's why. Because in order to change beliefs, or in order to get new beliefs taking hold in our subconscious mind, we need to do that through things like repetition, through story, through pictures, through sound and color, all of those sorts of things. Remember from previous podcasts when I was explaining to you that the subconscious mind can be kind of thought about like that of a child who's around 7 years old. Now, if you have ever asked a 7-year-old child to do something, you probably had to ask them 1,000,001 times to do it. Or you had to wait until, they'd finished level 10 on the iPad, or wait until the ads were on TV so they could do whatever task you were allocating for them. But we also know that repetition works really, really well along with story. So just think about the types of stories that you see in a library. Kids' books are full of color, they're full of pictures, they just come to life because they're trying to help the kids imagine things, because imagination is a huge part of intelligence. We want to also cultivate that. But It's by using those sorts of strategies and those sorts of approaches that you're going to be able to, over time, allow new beliefs to take root or to take hold in your subconscious mind. And then, without even realizing it, you will naturally start operating from that framework of the new belief. Okay. The next thing is really, really important, and so many law of attraction coaches and manifesting mentors, they just forget this. But to me, it's really important. And if I had to say that there was a secret ingredient to manifesting, I believe that this would be it. At 100% has to be around the feeling. You have to be able to feel into having that goal. You have to feel into what it's going to be like once you've got it. And feeling is really around emotion. Are you happy? Are you excited? Do you feel inspired? Do you feel motivated, energized, elevated, amplified, activated? All of those really powerful, strong words. You really have to feel it, because it's that feeling again that's going to help this take hold in your subconscious mind. The other kicker is appreciate that you already have. I've explained before about the gratitude exercise that I do, and there's lots out there. You can find one that's going to work for you, but there are a couple that work for me and for people that I work with. So one is, of course, every morning and every night, maybe you want to make a note of between 3 and 5 things that you're thankful for. And they could be things that you couldn't imagine living without. So they can go right back to really boring things like, I'm thankful for my plumbing. I'm thankful for my electricity. I'm thankful for Wi-Fi. I'm thankful for my laptop. I'm thankful for Facebook. I'm thankful for beautiful clients to work with. I'm thankful for the sun rising and setting every day. I'm thankful for the seasons. I'm thankful for my veggie patch. I'm thankful for the lemons growing on my trees in the backyard. I'm thankful for living in a place that allows me to be connected to my environment. I'm thankful for my car. I'm thankful I've got work to go to. I'm thankful for clean water to drink. All those things that you take for granted. Once you get started with this, there's millions of them. All you have to do is just sit in one room and you can look at everything. And I'm sure you're probably going to be grateful for just about everything in that room. But the value in appreciating that which you already have is that it raises your vibration, okay? And when our vibration is raised, it means that we're a much better match for the things that we're trying to call into our world, for the goals that we're working on, for the intentions that we're setting, okay? So the beautiful thing about expressing actively, honestly, truthfully, genuinely expressing gratitude is that we know like attracts like. So what's going to happen? You're going to create more situations in your world, more people, more places, more objects or things, more experiences to be grateful for. Yeah? And isn't that amazing? The more you have something in your awareness, the more you see it, the more you experience it, the more powerful it becomes. And that's really, really beautiful. Okay. So here's another tip. Don't start manifesting from a place of need. Don't do it from need. Don't do it from desperation. And I'll tell you why. Because again, like attracts like, all that's going to happen is you'll create more shitty circumstances in your life that you've got to deal with, and then you'll say manifesting doesn't work. Really, in order to be successful with manifesting, you have to be comfortable with the idea of letting go. And that's one of the things that my clients find hardest to do. And this is where a lot of them get stuck. Up to this point, they do really well and they make this really amazing progress as they're going through the coaching process. They're doing so well. And then we get to this part about detaching from the outcome. and they freak out, they panic, they can't do it. They can sort of sit with it for a short time, and then they get overwhelmed by this compulsion to hustle and get back into action and do. And they want to write a plan, and they want a blueprint for this, and a task list for that. And they feel like they need to be doing. And it's a false economy. It's how we've been brought up. It goes back to beliefs. A lot of them will say to me, well, I guess when I was growing up, I heard that if you work really hard, you'll be successful. So this doesn't fit me. Letting go of the outcome, me detaching from that, doesn't fit with my deeper belief that I have to be doing something in order to be successful. I think if I'm not doing as much, I'm getting further away from that idea I have of what success really is. So it's this part of the process that requires a lot of people to revisit some of the internal work. And if you're in that position, that's okay. Don't stress. It's just a little flag, a little indicator that this is something that you probably want to give some attention to over the next little while. Okay. So that's that. It doesn't really matter if you've been naughty or nice. What you're experiencing today is absolutely a reflection of where your head's been over the last little while. And that's okay. We've manifested today and all of the events in it. But guess what? You can manifest tomorrow, and things happen the day after, and things happen a week after, and a month after, and a year or 10 years after as well. It's totally up to you. And for those of you that experience anxiety, which in Australia is, 4 out of every 5 of us, anxiety is often, not always, but often this fear of not being in control of something. It's this fear of things being out of our control. We don't know what's going to happen. It's super duper scary. And so the beauty of something like learning about law of attraction is that it puts you back in the driver's seat, and it allows you to regain that control, okay? So it's definitely worth exploring a little bit further. And if that's something you want to do, please get in touch, because we do have some training coming up that's launching early in the new year that you might be interested in. Apart from that, let me finish off with a little affirmation, which is: when I actively express gratitude, I create more situations to be grateful for. When I actively express gratitude, I create more situations to be grateful for. Thank you so much for listening. I love having your company, as you know. This will be our last podcast for this season, but I'll be back in the new year. If you have any ideas for content or topics, please let me know. And have an amazing Christmas. I wish you all the happiness in the whole entire world. Much love. Happy manifesting. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening. Take steps now to manifest the life you want by checking out the show notes. If you've loved this episode, leave a review on iTunes. Here's to manifesting change.